everybody, I hope you are doing well. I'm Afefe with Touch by Tarot and Beyond, and I am here today to do a political reading. Can't you guess? I am, first, let me say thank you. If you're new to the channel, glad you're here. Welcome aboard. Hope you like what you see. If so, please hit that like and subscribe button. I am a former newspaper journalist and also clearly a spiritualist, right? I'm a priestess, and so I do my thing with the cards. I do my thing with trying to make sure I get my facts straight, and I have a really good time here on this platform with you all. I really do enjoy this community. I enjoy your feedback. I love the way that you engage with one another, and the only thing we ask is that we stay tolerant and keep it respectful. You all right? Keep it classy. All right. So, I want to look at today, you all. First, thank you. Many of you, I got a number of comments where people. I did a reading on Tuesday prior to the debate. Went to Spirit, said, "Hey, what can we expect?" Spirit was on it, and I really appreciate some of you went back and rewatched it and said, "All right, Afefe, we we were on it." So I really appreciate that. I appreciate your time and your engagement. Now let's engage on this today. Donald Trump's got some serious women issues going on that are increasing. Remember, in that last video on Tuesday, we saw this woman. Spirit said that there was this woman around Trump who was going to try to come in kind of as his rescuer or backup, but there was just this real strong feminine presence. And a lot of you had some great ideas about who that might be. I've got a theory now based on what's happened since then. You all, what do you think about Laura Loomer? Right? She blew up this week in the press because apparently there was this cat fight between Laura Loomer and Marjorie Taylor Greene because, she's been the little, MAGA darling, from the woman's perspective, and she's sort of getting sidelined a little bit. Now we have Laura Loomer, who apparently has ticked off some people in Trump's court because she now is riding on his version of his little Air Force One, whatever, his plane, which means that some other people in his camp have apparently gotten kicked off and are having to fly commercial because with increased security after what happened in Butler, PA, he's got increased security on his plane now, and his campaign folks. So there's been some shuffling around where somehow, some way, little 31-year-old, extremely interesting, I almost said whacked out. Sorry, not sorry. For entertainment purposes only. This Laura Loomer has come out of the woodwork and is a real fixture now in his, in his little tight inner circle, which apparently is driving people like Susie Wiles and Chris Lasavita, his more, quote unquote handlers. They're like, this guy is just enamored with her. We're going to take a look and see what that's all about. Apparently, she has come out and said, like, just to give you an example, if you're not familiar with her, I just learned a lot about her. She said, she makes remarks like, if Kamala Harris were to win, with her biracial heritage, the White House is going to start smelling like curry. She also was apparently she was in Trump's ear in the spin room at the debate when he made that comment about the Haitians with pets in Springfield, Ohio, which, by the way, our prayers to them. There's been major fallout behind that, you all. These things have consequences. Did you hear about the bomb threats, etc., that are going on? You've got the mayor of Springfield coming out and saying, listen, we can't do this, you all. Let's not, dive into this hatred. So we really should put our prayers around them. Immigration issues notwithstanding, people are seriously being impacted by these MAGA extremists and what they're putting forward. So apparently, back to the subject at hand, Laura Loomer was in the background in the spin room with Donald Trump. She's been traveling with him everywhere. They super tight. We're gonna take a look at that. And she got in his ear about making that statement, as well as apparently she is now twisting and promoting this idea, this conspiracy that somehow, some way, that Biden, Harris, and or the Democratic Party was involved in the assassination attempt on Donald Trump. Like, please, please. But he's buying into it, and he made that intimation, and he's been doing that more and more on True Social. So this woman has got his ear. All right, Marjorie Taylor Greene is hot about it, but whatever, Mama. You should have known. You should have saw that coming. You were only going to stay significant and relevant as long as they needed you to, as long as you were going to be their attack dog. You all, I want to take a look now at the role. If in fact, I think Laura Loomer is that woman that we saw in that last reading that Spirit showed us, that was coming, really being a force and coming around Donald Trump. And I want to take a look at what that's really about. Spirit, please show us. What do we need to know about the relationship, the connection between Donald Trump and Laura Loomer? Where is that headed? What is she taking over? Is he really under her spell, or is she under his? Laura Loomer and Donald Trump. We have the moon at the bottom of the deck. Sorry for that light. It's a little obsessive. He's obsessed with her youth, and she's obsessed with what she perceives as his power. We have the Wheel of Fortune. No accident. She's definitely been brought into his life at this time for a purpose. Many readers have said that because of his very troubled history with women, that it would in fact be women who would bring him down. And many people have also talked about that in relation to women voting, the whole idea of reproductive rights, and that women are leading the charge in this election. Here he is now running against a woman, right? There's so many areas of sort of the divine feminine coming into play here. So yeah, she's been placed in his life karmically. Laura Loomer and Donald Trump. 7 of Cups. There's a little bit of codependence there between the two of them. They're both struggling in very different ways to find their footing. She apparently is trying to grow her presence, her power as an influencer. From what I can find, she hasn't done very much. She holds herself out as a right-wing journalist, investigative journalist. That caught my eye, it did. But I can't see what she's done. I couldn't find anything substantive around her. She just like a lot of talk. She's done a book called Loomered, with her standing there with a big megaphone in front of her, and that basically like a lot of mouth. That's it. She's just trying to attract the attention. 7 of Cups feels like they're not really. And the Knight of Coins. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and say what and deal with my human self, because I was starting to wonder. Okay, we know how he is, even going back to his beauty pageant background, right? Here he is, almost 80 years old. She's 31. What could what is the draw, right? I'm not seeing that. You all know what I mean by that. I'm not seeing that, which thankfully, but I do see. They are delusionally, going back to that moon card, they are delusionally attracted to one another for what they feel each represents to the other. Page of Cups. She makes him feel young again. She makes him feel relevant. The idea that someone who can, lavish praise on him and be so unabashedly loyal and devoted to him, when on the other hand, for instance, like Melania is like, yeah, whatever. Last year, sign these new renegotiated prenups, dude, and I'm going to New York and hang out with Baron. Check you on the rebound. Like, she's not even trying. So yeah, there's a Laura Loomer is giving him life, basically. She's feeding the ego. She's giving him a little prop up, and the 8 of Swords. That is so interesting, because deep down, she knows. I think she's getting a hint. This is not going to go well for her in the long term. Him losing and The fact that he is older and his whole faction is starting to waffle and waver. We see what's happening in the congressional circles now. Mike Johnson with the budget deal. Republicans are some of the main factions that are coming out and saying we can't do this. And yes, Hakeem Jeffries is saying we're gonna have to bail you out again. But anyway, we'll look at that a little bit later. But she is aware of that. Loomer is, she's not stupid. She's not a dingbat. She's very cunning. Page of coins. She's looking to make other connections through him. That's what this is. He's a gateway for her. Spirit, is that what it is? Donald Trump is a gateway for Laura Loomer to make other connections, specifically with wealthy men or wealthy people, but the men. Enough said. Enough said. She's on a mission, okay? And he's a gateway to that mission. And unfortunately, she serves enough of a prop and a purpose for him that, come on, you've got her by your side, traveling on your plane. She's not even hired. She's not part of his campaign team. She was not hired. She tried to apply. She tried to get in there, but she wasn't hired. The other people, Susie Wiles and La Savita and company, they were like, no. And they held sway. She's not even officially a part of his campaign team. She's just there, everywhere. All right, y'all, let's move on. I was being a little petty with that one because I was like, come on, 2 and 2 does not equal 5. Something's up in this situation, but now I feel like we've got a better handle on what purpose each of them is serving to the other. Now, keeping on along the track of these women in Trump's life right now, it was circling around him. Alina Habba, is she going to get fired? We know that he was not happy with her performance during the Hush Money trial, right? The Stormy Daniels trial. We know that. She was terrible. She was outwitted, outmatched, was not ready for what happened to her in that situation. But here she is, still around, still, everywhere he goes, there she is. But now it's come out that she has been involved in her own hush money situation. There was a woman, what is her name? I know I wrote it down. Alice Blanco. You can look it up. Alice Blanco was a waitress. 2021 was a 21-year-old waitress at Trump's National Golf Club in Bedminster, New Jersey, was being sexually harassed by the restaurant manager there. Okay, not surprised. That was probably on the person's resume to apply for Trump's National Golf Club for entertainment purposes only. So after undergoing a lot of sexual harassment by this manager, and it sounds like it got pretty deep, like she, may have had to engage in some things, purportedly, that she quit and decided to press charges, right? So she hires a lawyer, gonna press charges against this guy who works for, and of course also names the golf resort, Trump's resort, and this guy files suit, gets a lawyer. Alina Habba slides in and says, you don't need them. Listen to me. I can get you through this. I'm the best lawyer for the job here. This person, Alice Blanco, lets her attorney go, hires Alina Habba. Alina Habba, I've got your back, works out a deal for her, a $15,000 settlement, right? To not continue to go forward. But as part of the settlement, Alina Habba, in her brilliant legal mind, she was not included in it. So while this Alice Blanco was released in terms of the Trump National Golf Club in Bedminster, it did not include Alina Habba. So right after that case settles, this woman agrees to take this $15,000. Alina Habba goes and joins Trump's legal team. There you have it. So she brought a lawsuit against Alina Habba. And apparently she has just settled out of court. She reached a settlement with her to kind of keep her, keep the lawsuit from going full steam ahead. So I'm wondering, I don't understand the fascination there. Again, this connection with Trump and some of these women. It's not like she's this brilliant legal mind. Todd Blanche certainly has had his hands full. He was considered a brilliant legal mind, and then went off the cliff with Trump. We'll see what happens in the future. Gonna look later at, I saw Scott McAfee's decision in Georgia to drop some of those charges. I'm telling you, that Georgia case. Ooh, we're gonna need some prayer around that, but we'll get to that in another reading. Spirit, is Donald Trump going to fire Alina Habba? Is she gonna get let go from his legal team in the wake of this latest court settlement with Alice Blanco? Is Alina Habba gonna be fired? Is Trump gonna let her go? Alina Habba. Okay. Knight of Swords. People have been talking to him about it. Eight of Swords. And the Three of Pentacles. I don't see her being released, but I do see her being increasingly sidelined. The people around him, the rest of his legal team, I just mentioned Todd Blanche, for instance, one of his major attorneys. He's got so many. But there's been enough of the legal teams rallying around one another and having conversations like, this is not only bad, not only is she inept, but now she's collateral damage, basically. But there's an Eight of Swords there, along with the Eight of Cups. They're trying to squeeze her out. They're trying to sideline her. It's almost like she's, with that back turn there. It's like she increasingly is just going to be a face that, a really stilted face that you see on the screen behind him, another prop. But her activities, Seven of Swords, there's some backstabbing going on in those circles. She does not see what's coming. She thinks that because she is still in the mix that, she's going to be okay. And the Five of Pentacles, being left out. This is a quintessential energy around feeling isolated, feeling pushed out, feeling bereft of support. So this is not only is she going to be, I don't see her being outright fired, because that in and of itself could highlight, thank you, Spirit. Spirit is saying that in and of itself could highlight why. And it could bring more attention even to the fact that she got caught up in this her own hush money case, right? So I think that's part of it. They don't want to do anything to bring more attention on Alina Habba at this point, but her opportunities to really do anything substantive or substantial within that group is over. It's over. All right, you all. And finally, the last thing I wanted to take a look at today, I want to keep this short. Starmer, the UK Starmer is going to be here. Today's Friday, taping this early Friday morning, the 13th. Starmer's coming here to talk to Joe Biden about the weapons issue with Ukraine, because we know that Russia, Putin has, and has been in talks with and made deals with Iran, and Iran is going to supply these long-range missiles to Russia. We know that, what we've been seeing is after Ukraine was having quite a bit of success in, over the last month or so, that Russia has started to boom, the empire strikes back kind of thing. And Iran has stepped in and said, we got your back. We got some weapons for you. Zelensky's been asking the U.S. for a while now, y'all got to let me have give me permission to use these missiles. And the U.S. clearly is like, if we do that, we know what's up. So it looks like Starmer's coming in. He's taking the lead. Putin is already saying, and company are already saying, if you do this, then, we consider ourselves also at war with NATO and its allies, including the U.S. But there's got to be, I want to take a look at that and see, are Starmer and Biden going to reach a deal also with other NATO allies to provide, to give Zelensky and Ukraine permission to use these long range missiles. Seven of Pentacles. The answer is yes, but they're also going to go into, there's going to be conditions. This feels like conditions. Seven of Pentacles is a card of assessment. It's moving forward and building on it for sure. So they're going to get those missiles. Zelensky, Ukraine they're going to get these long range missiles and be given permission to use them. But there's going to be some sort of conditions around, being very specific around their targets and under which conditions they are allowed to use them. It won't be free, willy-nilly. Here you go, have at it, do your thing. Spirit, please show me more. Starmer's talks with Biden today and how that's going to impact the NATO allies. Two major arcana. Let's pay attention. We have the Magician, who comes with the Hangman. A lot of thought, a lot of strategy, a lot of making sure that it's almost as if, because the Magician is about making things happen, creating things, and creating the circumstances and manifesting what needs to happen, right? Utilizing all resources. This is Zelensky, head of Ukraine, making it happen, pulling all resources together to fight this war, and maintain a level of morale, etc., like momentum around it. And the Hangman is the waiting period. I feel like this is also, when Starmer comes here and leaves, it won't be Ukraine ready to utilize these missiles the very next day. This is a process that they're putting in place, you all. They've got to be extremely careful about this. And the High Priestess, another major arcana, because the stakes are big. When you get a lot of majors, at least in my practice, the way I see it, you all, when you get a lot of majors coming up, especially back to back to back in a reading, that is one way that Spirit is saying the stakes are high here. These are 78 cards. You only got 22 major arcana. So if those are the ones that start popping out back to back, Spirit is saying this is big. The stakes are very high here. I think that Starmer coming here to meet with Biden, and by extension then the NATO allies are going to be a part of this as well. It's very, very important to have all stakeholders involved, and there's death. They want to bring an end to this. That's the mile marker. How do we end this war? And what moves can they make strategically to place Ukraine in a better and more advantageous position to show, all right, Putin, you've got your thing going on with Iran. We know you've got your thing going on with China, whatever. But Ukraine is not by itself, and Ukraine is not sitting out here just waiting on help from the United States. The rest of the NATO allies are ready to step in, and we have the King of Wands. I feel like that is Zelensky. And this will be what he needs, excuse me, and the Eight of Coins. Yes, this is the artillery, this is the help, this is the financial assistance that he's going to continue to need. So he's very strong. If there's any questions that have been raised around whether this is starting to wear Zelensky down, no, he is more committed than ever. I do think Starmer coming here, there's going to be mixed opinions about that, but this was a step that needed to be taken, Spirit is saying, and it needed to come. Spirit is saying, the guides are saying it needed to come to us versus Biden, say, going there. That would have seemed too much of an aggressive move on the part of the USA. So all of this, it's almost like a dance that's being played out, bit by bit by bit by bit. But this is going to happen. They are Ukraine is going to be given what they need. That is another part of the spending bill, the government spending bill. They apparently are due some more money. like 60 billion or something like that before the end of the year. That was part of the agreement. So we're gonna take another look at that as we get closer to what's gonna happen with that government spending bill. Mike Johnson has got his hands full, and he knew it. The thing is, in his energy, he knew that this was dead in the water. He knew that this whole attaching this voter proof of citizenship and packaging it into the government spending bill, that's his marching orders from Donald Trump, right? You got to make it part of that, and so he's like, okay, he knew better, like, dude. All right, you all have a great Friday, a great weekend. I hope that was helpful. Let's keep an eye on whether or not how long Alina Habba lasts, and if, as Spirit is showing us, we're going to see her pushed further and further into the shadows. Laura Loomer is on a mission to get past Trump to the next person, so expect that as well. All right, you all, take good care of yourselves. Keep your chins up. Stay safe out there, and I'll talk to you real soon. Bye.